Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Charles Parker. I am your host, Save Our Children TV. Back at it for a brand new video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. Um, Also go to my content channel, my reaction channel, Charles Reaction. My content channel. Go over there and please thumbs it up. Subscribe. The name over here on this platform. Thumbs it up, share my videos. I have 11 stories for you guys. And today's story title, is called Please, in all caps, everything's in caps, Please Save Our Children. There's been a lot going on in the media within the last couple of days and today involving our children. Also, um, I urge you to, before I get started, I urge you to engage, okay, with your community. We gotta help the younger generation. There's a lot going on in the media, and it's just been a crazy week in the media. So let's get started with our first story. And our first story is taking us to New Orleans. So New Orleans takes an L. Let's talk about it. Give me a second to put the story up. I'm on the CNN app, and New Orleans Mardi Gras mass shooting leaves one dead and four others injured. I'm doing this story because I'm here to give these victims a voice. Suspect arrested after shooting along Mardi Gras parade route leaves one dead, four others injured. New Orleans police said this happened today. Earlier today, this happened. A suspect is in custody after one person was killed and four others, including. So a suspect is in custody after one person was killed and four others, including a 4-year-old girl, were injured in a shooting Sunday night along a Mardi Gras parade route ahead of the city's Rocous celebration this week, police said. The deceased victim is a teenage boy between the ages of 15 and 18. New Orleans Police Interim Superintendent Michelle Woodford said in a news conference Monday the four other victims, among them an 18-year-old man, a 22-year-old woman, and a 24-year-old woman, were treated at the hospitals and have been released. The gunfire erupted around 9:30 p.m. along the route of the popular crew of Bachelor's Parade, traditionally held in the run-up to the Mardi Gras celebration this Tuesday, interrupting a quintessential New Orleans festivity and underscoring the continued prevalence of gun violence in all venues of American life. New Orleans police said and officers from other agencies were already in the area when they heard the gunshots. Woodfolk said within moments they had apprehended a suspect and found two weapons at the scene, the superintendent said. Woodward identified the individual in custody as 21-year-old Mansour Mabaj, who was arrested for illegally carrying a weapon. It was not immediately clear if Mabaj had an attorney who would comment on his behalf. We can't say who fired the weapon, who was involved in the shooting at this time. Woodfolk said the shooting is under investigation by homicide detectives. We have to wait until we gather a ballistic result back to really be sure what guns were fired and then who may have been doing the shooting. Woodford described the shooting as an isolated incident. Police are committed to making sure Mardi Gras is safe, family-friendly event. Warwick said nothing. Police have recovered 112 guns near the parade routes. Additional police are riding around the perimeters of the parades to ensure attendees' safety, she said, encouraging the public to inform police if they see someone with a weapon. The U.S. has suffered 80 mass shootings in 2023. According to the Gun Violence Archive, a nonprofit that defines mass shootings as those in which four or more people were shot, not including the shooter. Okay, number one, I just don't understand what gives people the right to shoot up a parade, you know, and kill somebody and injure four other people, including a child who was 4 years old. Like, it just, we can't even go outside and enjoy a parade without someone in their feelings pulling a trigger and shooting and killing us. No, do you know who is not speaking about this right now, or who are reaching out to the community? Community leaders. Where are the community leaders at? Because if I was a community leader, right, and I lived in New Orleans, that same night I would be out there being the voice for that 4-year-old child, the victim who was killed, and the three others who were injured. Because those people are traumatized. And remember, the community of New Orleans is traumatized about what happened. So those something needs to be done in New Orleans. Um, I I just don't understand the logic of pulling a trigger at a festival. You know, back in the days, there was a such thing as secure searches. You'd be searched. Back in the days, you were searched before going to parades. You were searched before going to concerts. You were searched before going to parties because people don't have a right mind and choose to pull out a gun and use it for the wrong reasons. I mean, what bothers me is the fact that you kill a person, but to injure a 4-year-old child. You injured the child, you killed the child, and injured additional three others. It's just it's dangerous. Dangerous. Keep the victims in your thoughts and prayers. Keep that child in your thoughts and prayers. Um, keep the family of the victim who passed in your thoughts and prayers. Keep New Orleans in your thoughts and prayers. Keep the departments in your thoughts and prayers. Something has to be done with people carrying guns, especially when you're bringing weapons to a parade. Something has to be done about that. Obviously, New Orleans is one of the high crime areas or places. So I think, in my opinion, there should have been security checks at this parade, knowing what New Orleans continue facing, which is gun violence. I just watched a documentary 2 3 days ago where They were talking about New Orleans and how so many people were killed senselessly with gun violence, you know. But something has to be done because it's easy to say, let's get the guns off the street. How about let's go to legislation, the Capitol, and get reforms? Let's stop the gun violence. Let's stop people from carrying guns if you need not to carry a gun at that point in time. Because you're carrying guns for the wrong reason. You're killing our people for the wrong reasons. So now we can't enjoy a festivity because you killed a person and injured three others. Because you were senseless. Because you was and your feelings. Whoever's responsible, they say they got one person in custody for the gun, the possession of a gun. But I'm pretty sure that person is the suspect in the murder. But they are going to have to drum a lot of evidence together before they can determine that. And um, hope and pray whoever else is responsible is brought to justice. Thank you guys so much for watching this particular story. We're gonna move on to story number two. This story, I need parents to listen to this story, especially if you are in Atlanta. WSB TV. 9 children. I'm gonna repeat that again. Georgia Tech Scenario, Columbus, Georgia Tech Scenario. 9 children, including a 5-year-old, is shot outside of a Georgia gas station. This is back on the 18th of February, 2023. Columbus, Georgia, Tech scenario once again. 9 children are recovering in the hospital after being shot outside of a gas station on Friday night. Columbus police officers were called to a Shell gas station just after 10 p.m. in reference to a shooting. When they got there, they found a large group of people that included 9 juveniles who had suffered gunshot wounds. The victims included 5 males, a male, a 5-year-old male, a 12-year-old male, 13-year-old female, another 13-year-old female, 13-year-old male, 14-year-old male, 15-year-old male, 15-year-old male, and a 17-year-old male. The victims' names have not been released because they are juveniles. All 9 were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The rash of gun violence involving our youth is impacting communities across the country. While Columbus is not immune to these incidents, I want to assure citizens that the men and women of CPD are tirelessly working to get violent offenders off our streets. It is going to take community effort to combat gun violence in our city. The entire budget has a responsibility because incidents like this impacts all of us, says Columbus Police Chief Freddie Blackman. Police have not released the details on what led up to the shooting, no arrests have been made. Now let me go back to what they just said. CPD is working to get violent offenders off our streets. Yet we're putting them back on the streets after they're not even doing hard prison time. So that tells me that they're really not trying to get these people off the streets. They can't say one thing and yet do another. 9 children, 9, youngest to be 5 years old, is shot and injured at a gas station. And I'm assuming these children were in their family vehicles somewhere in the stores or outside of the stores with their family. I mean, how can you be that like who shoot children? You that low? You are that low. My question is, where is your heart at to even do something like that? Common sense. You don't shoot at children. Point blank, period. You just don't do that. Whoever responsible for this needs to be taken off the street ASAP. Because if they're willing to shoot at 9 children, then believe it or not, they're willing to shoot up a school. Just that simple. They don't care about nobody around them. They don't care about the safety that's put in place, and they don't care about nobody around them. That needs not to be in society. That needs to be in a prison cell for life. This is uncalled for. This was out of hand, and I'm hoping police can find whoever is responsible. I believe it's more than one shooter to shoot and injure 9 children. There must have been about 2 to 3 shooters. But this is why it's important, parents, to talk to your children, especially when they become before they become thugs, because this is the result of thug life. They think they could run things, shoot at anybody, and think that they won't get caught. But let me tell you this: the police gonna find you, and you're gonna be held accountable. It's a moment of time. So, whoever is responsible for this shooting of these 9 children, I urge you to turn yourself in. Do the right thing. You injured 10 children. You could have killed people. Turn yourself in. You're bold enough to do the shooting. You're bold enough to do the jail time. Turn yourself in. Anybody know who's responsible? Call ATLPD. Call them. Call Columbus Police and get these people arrested. Thank you. Let's move on. Keep those 9 children in your thoughts and prayers as they recover from the injuries. Senseless violence. A 16-year-old is missing out of Barrow County, and if anybody know, let me pull it up. Let me pull the story up so we get the identification. Officials with the Barrow County Sheriff's Office are seeking for 16-year-old Christian Meeks. According to deputies, Meeks was last seen Sunday at around 3 p.m. on Dale Heights Drive in Wendell, Georgia. The missing boy is described as being 5 feet 7 inches tall with a weight of around 159 pounds. Anybody seen, if anybody seen Christian Meeks, please call Barrow County Sheriff's Office. Thank you. WSAZ. New York Post, the second today. Teacher aide, he's a black man, is accused of licking a 7-year-old boy's feet at a trampoline park. An elementary school teacher's aide from Georgia has been arrested for allegedly tickling and licking the feet of a 7-year-old boy at an indoor trampoline park, authorities said. Corey Wellens, 25, was charged last week with non-aggravated child molestation in connection with the sickening incident that took place in January, according to a probable cause affidavit cited by the Augusta Press. On January 14th, deputies were summoned to the Urban Air Adventures Park on Robert C. Daniel Parkway in Augusta, where a 7-year-old boy was spending time with a friend and the friend's mother. The child's guardian told deputies that the 7-year-old was in a fenced in play area when Violence approached him, asked him to sit down in front of him, and tickled his feet. Violence then allegedly asked the boy to remove his socks and eventually licked both of the victim's feet, the document stated. In an interview with station WRDW, the victim's guardian, Caitlin Phillips, said the child told her that Violence licked his toes. It's the pattern of predators that find a way they revolve their whole life around the fantasy, Phillips said. When questioned by the deputies, Rollins claimed that he met up with his family members at the jumping park who had just left and said he was about to head out as well. But investigators later determined that the 25-year-old had not been with any relatives at the children's venue, according to the affidavit. Until recently, Rollins was employed as a physical education professional at the Glen Hills Elementary School in Richmond County. School administrators learned of the foot licking incident at Urban Air on January 17 and immediately placed Rollins on unpaid administrative leave. On February 11th, Rollins quit his job, citing in his resignation email obtained by WRDW, the station at hand. Number one, a teacher assistant. We got to remember he's a elementary phys ed teacher assistant. I will be really concerned about his S word behavior, his actual behavior. I don't think it's the first time he did this to a student. I'm sorry. I just don't. I think this was just, I think he wanted to do this to a student for the longest. And, and he chose to go to this park, trampoline park, and satisfy his urge, which in my opinion is very, very gross and very, very uncalled for. And at the end of the day, we need to start holding teachers' assistants, teachers, anybody who works in a community, and anybody who works in businesses accountable for their actions. He should not have been employed at an elementary school, knowing his background. You know, when you take the time out to know somebody and take the time out to know the history, they probably would have knew that this was a serial monster. It's just so inappropriate on all levels, and the only reason why he quit his job is because he know that eventually he will be fired, and he was charged again with non forgot what it was. Let me look it up again. Non-consensual molestation. I don't know what that means. I think it's when you don't have the permission to do, like, you don't have the permission to act upon what you did. I think that's what it is. But yeah, just strange. You gotta be careful. You gotta be very careful. Who you let around children. This guy is a perv, weird, awkward, strange. It's just you did this at a theme park. think it's more to the story. If there is, I'm gonna do an update to it. I think there's gonna be more allegations or more to come with this story. Fisher isn't the first time he moved in and did this. Just this unbelievable. Somebody that sick to do something like that. All right, let's move on to our next story. This story I never talked about. Shout out to AFC. I got it off his channel. Let's talk about it. I'm on AP News story number 5. Um, Maryland takes an L. Okay, and it says, and I quote: Maryland man found guilty of fatally stabbing 3 children. Let's talk about it. Back on January 28th, 2023. Here's an update. Upper Marlboro, Maryland. A Maryland man could receive life in prison without the possibility of parole if the jury convicted him of first-degree murder and the death of his 6-year-old sister and 2 young extended family members in a home in 2017. Jurors deliberated for about 2 hours on Thursday in Prince George's County Court to find Antonio Street Williams guilty of murder and 3 first-degree child abuse charges, according to State Attorney Aisha Braveboy's office. Sentencing is set for May 19th. Williams, now 30, has been accused in the fatal stabbing of his sister, Nadaria Janae Withers, along with visiting cousin 6-year-old Jaya, uh, Jaya Royale Decree and 9-year-old Ariana Elizabeth Decree. Now outlets reported Williams had earlier confessed to the stabbings, according to investigators. I'm just happy that 3 innocent lives got the justice they deserve, Kenneth Weathers, the father of Nadaria Weathers, said after the verdict. The children were in Williams' care at the time of the deaths, according to authorities, with his mother working on a night nursing shift. Prosecutors urged at trial that Williams was annoyed that the girl was making noise and went up and down the stairs at the Clinton home. He grabbed a knife from the kitchen, stabbed the girls multiple times in the bedroom, and put the knives away, according to prosecutors. Williams' mother found the girls that morning. Williams cleaned up the scene and the knife, but investigators found enough DNA evidence to link him to the stabbings, according to prosecutors. They should have been drained of lives pursuing the dreams, yet they were killed by a family member. Brave Boy said the case took a long time because of turnover within Brave Boy's office, a change in defense attorneys, and pandemic-related delays, said Jonathan Church, a prosecutor who hoped to take the case to trial. Now, I always talk about this scenario, okay? And I said that it's never a good idea to leave your children with strangers. Now, it's never a good idea to leave your children with family members. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about some people. You got those that you once in a blue moon you have a family member that's, what I'm saying, that shows signs of craziness or show signs of aggression or anger, frustration, anything. So it's not a good idea to keep your children around those type of people because bad things can happen. Now, the mother went to work as a nursing assistant overnight, came back and discovered children dead in the room. Now, the thing is this: I find it disturbing that you would stab three little girls to death. And the sad part, these are your family, your blood, and you did this out of anger that they kept making noise and running up and down the stairs. Well, they're children, and that's what children does. Children make noises. Children, you know what I'm saying? They play loud. That doesn't give you a right to take matters in your own hand and use deadly force. You could have told the children to quiet down. There's other methods you could have took instead of being a coward. Now, to me, this is, in my opinion, a death penalty case. This was deliberate. This was deliberate. You went to the kitchen, got the knife, and stabbed them, killed them. You deliberately took their lives. And if I was the jury, I would seek the death penalty because I think that you need the death penalty. You need life imprisonment. Nope, you need the death penalty. Sorry about that. You need to be sent on death row until you execute it for what you did. But we need to hold more people accountable in general. If you are a babysitter, or if you are a friend of a friend, or if you have a friend of a friend of a friend who have your children and they abuse a child or show signs of aggression, it's your it's your actions, all right? You are to call law enforcement, DCFS, CPS on these people. If you see something, say something. Don't be a victim. Be a hero. You gotta play it smart. I'm not blaming the mother one time. She thought she could leave her children and the children hands with a trusted family member, but in reality, he was untrustworthy. And I know that mother's gonna have, or not even gonna have. She already have trust issues after this. Imagine coming from work and discovering three children dead. Your two children and your niece dead, and your family member is responsible. We gotta take swift actions and stop people like that from being around our children. Keep these children your thoughts and prayers. Condolences to these three beautiful angels who do not deserve to be killed, do not deserve what they have gotten. This God needs either life without or the death penalty. He needs not to see the light outside no more. He needs to be in a cage for the rest of his life. Don't let him off a rack. Keep him in the cage like an animal he is. Thank you. All right, let's go to story 6 out of 11. It's a lot of stories. It's a lot of stories. So let's talk about it. Man kills his girlfriend and self after girlfriend said she wanted to end the relationship. I just to talk about the story because they have a child together. And the sad part is that that child's gonna grow up without his parents. And if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're in a relationship that is toxic, get out of it because you're not helping yourself by staying in a toxic relationship, especially if you have children, because you're teaching your children how to stay in toxic relationships and abusive relationships. Get yourself out of that situation because you're showing your children that if you in a relationship that is not good for you or your family or your children, get out of it. You're saving your life, your family life, and this person doesn't need you. You can do better without him or her. Keep her in your thoughts and prayers, her family in your thoughts and prayers, her child in your thoughts and prayers. Took the coward way out. Killed himself. Took the coward way out. Say, company hired over 100 children as young as 13 in a slaughterhouse. Did anybody see that story? First of all, what gets me is that you have children who are not even qualified yet to work in a legal establishment with heavy machinery. So if anything happens, you're going to be held accountable because you haven't worked in a legal environment. And then they working with all types of bacteria from raw products. God knows how long these animal carcasses and meat and all that been hanging from a nail post, and you got children working in there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's illegal, and everybody who is responsible for that needs to be locked up because you endangered children when you legally had them working for you in a slaughterhouse say I don't know how. I just don't understand why. What was the purpose? There's so much trafficking and crimes going on with our children. The dumbest thing he did was do the same thing that we are talking about and was problematic already in our community. So you kidnap our children, put them in a illegal environment to work for you, and at the end of the day, you're leaning back, act like nothing's wrong. It's crazy. This story reminds me of back in Texas when a woman and a man, I believe, it was two men or a woman, one of them, um, kidnapped multiple people, having back with a big 18 wheeler, and they all died. It was like 46 people was killed. I'm still waiting on the trial date of those individuals, but it's dumb. You put people's lives in danger. Let's move on. 11-week-old boy is found dead in a submerged car. So his mother drove the vehicle into flooding waters. The infant died, drowned in the flooded waters. It's just common sense is that you don't drive in flood waters. It's dangerous. You could be killed. You could be injured. It's not smart. If you driving on a busy road, you see a lot of water. It's flood. back up your vehicle, turn around, take another route. It ain't worth your life. Again, an innocent 11-month-old child was killed because his mother thought it was a great idea to drive through floodwaters. I just don't understand how that's a logic, how that's a theory. But this one needs to be locked up for at least culpable negligence because it was stupid and irresponsible. And some people don't need children if you care about yourself and nobody else around you. Let's think about that. All right. Mother, son, and a 3-year-old is and man is found dead at home. You know, I just don't understand like how you kill people and just like escape. Like there's no evidence back at the crime scene. Whoever is responsible for this brutal killing needs to be held accountable. You killed a child and a family. It needs to be locked up for life. You're a danger to society. You're a danger to yourself and everybody around you in the community. I think it needs to be locked up, held responsible. When there's more detail released, I'll give an update to that story. Story 10 out of 11. Let's talk about it. Michigan State University mass shooting. 3 people are dead. The suspect killed himself. He's 43 years old. Let's talk about it. On February 13th, 2023, a day before Valentine's Day, a mass shooting took place in 2 buildings on the campus of Michigan State University in East Lansing. 3 students were killed and 5 others are injured. The gunman, identified as 43-year-old Anthony Dwayne McRae, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound when he was confronted by police off campus. In the aftermath of the mass shooting, classes at Michigan State were canceled for the remainder of the week and relocated for the remainder of the semester for 2 buildings where the shootings took place. Students and their supporters protested against gun violence at the Michigan State Capitol and lawmakers promised gun control reforms. Talk about the victims. 8 people were shot and resulting in 3 dead and 5 injured. All of the victims of the shooting were Michigan State students. 3 were killed. Ariel Diamond Anderson, a junior from Grosse Point, Michigan; Brian Frazier, a sophomore, and Phi Delta Theta chapter president from Grosse Point; and Alexandria Varner, a junior from Clawson, Michigan. Another 5 students were injured in the shooting. 4 of the 5 injured victims required surgery, and one was taken directly to the ICU. All 5 are in critical condition. One injured victim was quadruple hypoplasia Perez, a junior from Americali, Florida. 2 others who were injured were Chinese international students. One of them is John Hale, who was paralyzed from the chest down. On February the 16th, university officials reported that one of the victims had been upgraded from critical to stable condition. Now, with so much of with so much of mass shootings going on, there needs to be a bail reform. There needs to be a gun control policy because we're allowing, keyword is allowing, guns to be in people's hands who shouldn't have guns. This guy who was 43, who killed these people, shouldn't have access to a gun. Just saying. But it's easy to manufacture a gun. It's easy to purchase assault weapons. So at the end of the day, I think there needs to be a standard to buy weapons. A major background, gun license, like a crazy test. There needs to be a lot to get access to a gun because we are killing each other for no reason. For no reason. Day before Valentine's Day. I mean, it's crazy. Keep those three victims in your thoughts and prayers on the families and those who are injured. Let's move on to our last story. This story, a story 11 out of 11. And this story happened today on Inside Edition. They talked about it. And I chose to talk about it because I want to bring clarity and common sense. And a YouTuber by the name of Piper Raquel. There's a controversy that's going on. And my youngest brother is a watch her videos, but she's 15 years old. And on Inside Edition today, they was talking about how there's a bit of a problem going on behind the scenes where they're dressing provocative, doing basically inappropriate videos. Remember, she's 15. She's from Georgia. Well, she lives in Georgia. And on Inside Edition, the children are blaming the parents who are allowing this to happen. And now there's an investigation underway. And not an investigation, I think like a lawsuit or something underway. But it got the attention of a famous singer, which is Pink, famous celebrity. Now, I want to say this because, and this goes for all YouTubers, it's really important that you know what you're putting out there. Because once you put it out there, you are responsible for whatever you put out there on your platform. You can't take it back now. It's out there. And the fact that it took all this years to now bring this to the the, the, the front burner, it's like this should have been mentioned a long time ago. And I think that this is an example of why parents in general, and shout out to Prison Doctor, who did prison time, got out, went to clients' houses, talked to children about the danger of social media, what not to do, and out of control children. Well, this is the point that parents monitor if their children are observing, watching, because you do not know what really goes on in these YouTube videos. You think, oh, these are good YouTube videos. You don't know what bad is happening behind the scenes. You don't really know what's going on for sure, for sure. So it's a parent's job to observe what the children are watching, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of Piper Kill fans. Let's just say unsubscribing from her channel after what expired. Let's just say a lot of parents are never going to let children watch Piper Kill again. Let's just say that. And parents, you gotta be better. You gotta set a better example for your children, especially if they're minors, because adults, okay, can get access to them videos, right, and could not only publish those videos for themselves, but those videos could end up on adult websites. So please take time to figure out what you are doing wrong as a parent and correct it. I think there's a lot more to the story. And I think that the sad part is that the children are the ones who came forward saying that they're being exploited by the parents. But you know, I'm shocked. But it's like I'm not surprised because in today's day and age, YouTube have made us, for those who watch YouTube, think that YouTube is just a great platform. But what is not being brought to the forefront is that there are very horrible things going on behind the scenes of these videos. So take time to figure out what that is. And I know it's devastating. Some of the stuff that they said on Inside Edition, and the one girl said that she was forced to put on the towel, they're forced to wear scandalous outfits, forced to wear scandalous bathing suits, forced to wear this and that. Well, this is the thing. If this was truly going on, I think that it would have been a smart thing to do was to the smart thing to do is brought this to light a long time ago because you could have got help. This is, I mean, it's crazy to know that parents are soliciting the children. And when you have a certain amount of followers on social media, then people do anything for views. They can do anything to the children. They can make the children do anything they want them to do. They could it could be anything from simple to major. So just be careful what you post on the internet, people. Be careful what you film and put on the internet for people to watch. Be careful, when you're filming your children who are underage and making these controversial videos because it could come back and haunt you for the rest of your life. I think it's more to this Papa Kill story. I, so far, I think I heard lawsuits are coming. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you volunteer to do the video, I mean, you're really not clear out the woods. If I wanted to, let's take for example, I'm a YouTuber, right? I know I got a following. Let's say I have 1 million followers, and I am into swords. I'm a swords follower, and I allow my and I'm underage. I allow my parents to use a sword to basically put it in my ears to see if it come out the other side of my ear. Well, at the end of the day, it looks fine to other people, but to that other half, it is child abuse. Simple as that, child abuse. And I think that you gotta be careful on these YouTube platforms. You gotta be careful. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know what you think about these stories down below. Subscribe to my Crime Time channel. Subscribe to my reaction channel, Charles Reactions, so you'll be notified every single time I drop a new video. Subscribe to this channel, Charles Reactions. Subscribe to this channel, Save Our Children TV. It's very important. So far I'm at 9 subscribers. Boost this video up to 50 subscribers. Then from 50, add another 50, 100 subscribers. And let's do 150. Let's top it every 50. So every 50 subscribers, we can do this. Within 50 days, we can get 50 extra subscribers. Let's hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to all my videos. I'm trying to make a difference on this channel and speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I love you guys. I see you guys on Thursday. Bye bye.